don't know what happened to the lighting. But anyway, are the Bucks in trouble? Because, Giannis being out, they haven't been the greatest since that really hot start, that I was talking about, and I was like, wow, like the Bucks started way better than I expected them to. And then, since then, they haven't been the greatest. So, what should the Bucks do now? I know a lot of people will say they should start tanking. The NBA doesn't like that. Sorry, you guys know the swallows. No, not the lighting again. I don't know what keeps happening to the lighting. Sorry. But should the Bucks start, thinking about rebuilding? I know that is the topic that's been floating around since the summer, for a long time. Like, the Bucks, the Damian Lillard thing was a very risky move, and it was kind of like the last, option that they had. Like, there really wasn't much else they could do. And the fact that they did the Damian Lillard thing, like, shocked everybody because nobody saw that coming. So they're really out of moves. They don't have their own pick for this year. They do have the more favorable pick of the New Orleans. I think it's a swap, between New Orleans and the Bucks. But if I remember correctly, that pick went to Atlanta, so I'm not even sure if they have that pick. But maybe they do. But regardless, like, they are not in a, position where they have a ton of picks and all these kind of things. Giannis, we know he loves Milwaukee and he wants to be there forever and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, this is kind of one of those, moments where it's like, we criticize, players for, leaving teams. Well, not me personally, but, like, media, fans criticize players for leaving teams. But at the same time, it's like, if Giannis wants to win more, it doesn't seem like the Bucks are really going to be able to get another championship, team around him, with their current situation. And again, I'm never pushing for a player to be traded or anything like that. But is it maybe in the best interest, like I said with the Pascal Siakam thing, when Pascal Siakam's name was coming up, or even before that, like even before his name was coming up for trading, we heard that Siakam wanted to stay with the Raptors, and stuff like that. And I don't know if the Raptors had said anything, but what I was saying on my channel is like, I know he wants to stay and stuff like that, but I was like, it may be in, the Raptors' best interest and Pascal Siakam's best interest if they trade him, because he's valuable, he will get something for him. And it ends up working out for, the Raptors and for Pascal Siakam because unfortunately Halliburton's hurt, but he was on a team that went to the finals last year, right? So I felt like, yes, Pascal Siakam wanted to stay, and I'm not pushing for someone to be traded, but in the Giannis case, the Bucks, from their perspective, like, Giannis is obviously a generational talent. Like, even if they make a trade, they're not necessarily guaranteed another Giannis, you know what I mean? Like, they're not guaranteed to get another player as good as Giannis. But maybe they can get 4 players, because they'll get a ton of picks, or, like, some young players who, again, none of them are Giannis, but they may equal to Giannis's value, and they'll have, like, more talent on the team, right? And just, like, for the future. And then from Giannis's perspective, although he wants to stay, he can be on a championship contender and maybe win more championships and build his legacy and stuff like that. Like, he already won a championship with the Bucks, so, like, he doesn't have that, hanging over him that some players, get criticized for. Like, he already did it. He delivered a championship to Milwaukee. So, like, he doesn't, like, it's the wrong thing to say, owe them, like, because, like, I don't think any of the players, like, you don't get, first of all, you don't pick where you get drafted. What happened to the lighting again? Hello, come back. You don't get to pick where you get drafted. And And he obviously signed contract extensions willingly. But to say, like, I feel like, oh, a championship is, like, kind of a harsh word, a way to explain it. But, like, obviously, if you're drafted to that city and you are a generational talent, the team, organization, the fans do expect and hope that you win a championship for them and with them and stuff like that. So, fair enough. He already did that, right? So that expectation is already off the table, whether it's fair or not. And so I don't think anybody should be faulting Giannis if he does leave, and I don't think anybody is. I think people are more pushing for him to leave at this point. I'm saying it may be more beneficial, for Giannis and the organization at this point to maybe part ways. And that may not be, the emotional, best solution. Like that, like Giannis's heart is in Milwaukee. The fans love him. Like, I get all that. So again, I'm not pushing for him to leave. He doesn't want to leave. That's fine. But again, I think it's kind of getting to that Pascal Siakam situation where it's like, yes, he is amazing. And, people will obviously say Giannis is a better player than Pascal Siakam, although Pascal Siakam is great. But why does the lighting do that every time I touch my hair? Every time. But it is, at a point where it just may be in the best interest of both of them to get back, to, potentially part ways. And again, it could work out beneficial for both of them in the end. Like I said, it worked out for the Raptors. Look at them. They're doing great. And then it's, it has worked out for Pascal Siakam. Again, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, but they were in the finals last year. So, like, he can't really ask for much more, Pascal Siakam. Like, to be traded to an NBA Finals contender, you can't ask for much more than that. Somebody said, yeah, players drafted higher are not guaranteed to be good. Facts. Yeah, like, the picks that the Bucks would get from the Giannis trade, in addition to whatever players they get, like I said, Giannis is generational talent. You're not guaranteed to get another Giannis, or to get another player as good as Giannis, but they may be able to, draft a few players who, add some value like Giannis, like a few, like 3 players who equal to Giannis, or, they take those picks and flip them for another player in the league who's already established, who can, be their next Giannis or whatever, right? So, like, they would have options. It just depends. So, I know this is going to keep coming up. I know Giannis hates this. But, like, with him being hurt now and the Bucks record not being great, because I did say in the beginning of the year, I was like, I think come trade deadlines when we'll see, like, Giannis start getting moved, if he's moved, because he's going to see how the Bucks, first half of the season play out. And because it is going this way, there is a high likelihood that Giannis, might get traded. So, someone said amazing hair. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye.